You're listening to The Sports Fix.
Portions of The Sports Fix brought to you by Harry Buffalo. Harry Buffalo, join the herd.
Sports Fix listeners, don't wait all day or all week to get in on the fun. The party doesn't stop when we go off the air all week long. The Sports Fix social media sites are your one-stop shop for all things Cleveland sports. Jump over to Facebook.com/TheSportsFix, Facebook.com/TheSportsFix, and become a fan today because we love fans and they create some of the best sports talk in town, Daddy. You'll enjoy talking to your fellow Cleveland sports fans on the Sports Fix fan page. And if Twitter's your thing, well, you know how we do it. Tweet with us at The Sports Fix CLE. It's that simple.
Twitter.com/TheSportsFixCLE, baby.
Chat live with the crew during all your favorite Cleveland sports events, tickets and contests and trivia and so much more. Get with us today, The Sports Fix on social media, Facebook.com/TheSportsFix. Tweet with us at The Sports Fix CLE. Join The Sports Fix on Facebook and Twitter today.
Hi, I'm Hector Marinero. You're listening to The Sports Fix.
Live in Ohio, it's time to get your fix. The Sports Fix.
Welcome in, everybody. We are live. I couldn't find the button for the microphone there for a second. I have like 50 windows pulled up, and I'm ready to roll, and I'm like, hey, where'd it go? It got pushed back to the back. We're on. Everybody can hear me. We're live and rolling. It is Wednesday, hump day, as always, pushing you through to the weekend here. Another midweek edition of the Sports Fix. Going to be fast-paced and loaded today. And Mike Brandenberry from DidTheTribeWinLastNight.com. Mike's going to join us here just about 25, 30 minutes from now, and we'll talk some Indians baseball. I want to check in with Mike and see where he's at now compared to a week ago when we talked about the Indians and their plight heading into the All-Star break, and see if he's changed, see where he's at. I can't wait to check the pulse of Mike Brandenberry from DidTheTribeWinLastNight.com. Speaking of that, the answer to that question is no. And we'll talk more. I'm going to save most of the Tribe talk for about, like I said, 30 minutes from now when Mike joins us here. I want him to jump in on the conversation. But before we roll too much into some other stuff, while that is kind of out in the air, man, I mean, I don't know if the Indians would have finished whatever. I don't know what would have happened with the game last night, man, but what a funky deal to happen to the Indians there with the second ball ending up on the field, and then Murphy ending up being called out, and he thought the ball was live. He didn't. I mean, I don't know about that, man. Like, I don't know how that doesn't just end up. I saw Vic on our Facebook this morning, just a few minutes ago, asked us a similar question. How does that not end up as a dead ball? Everybody go back, second and third there, and then we reset and keep going. I do not understand that. But, if you're looking for reasons that, if you want to say Cleveland or the Tribe or snake bitten, I mean, look at that there. Between Rayburn and his throw from the outfield and then this, you go, man, why do these things happen here? But I see Charles there with the dead ball call. That is actually not covered. What happened last night with the bullpen ball getting thrown onto the field and becoming a second ball for all intents and purposes out there like that. What a wacky play. And again, I don't know. You would probably have to assume way too much to say that in and of itself cost the Indians the game, especially when Josh Tomlin, my boy, listen, if you can't hear it through the mic, my head is hung in shame. I'm admitting it with you here. I'm still not giving up on my boy, but man, he likes to give up home runs. That's a good segue there because, good Lord, Josh Tomlin. I don't know how. I don't know, man. I don't know what to say. I don't know is the perfect word for that because I'm at a loss for my dude there. And especially when you look at this second half or this terrible run that Josh has been on, the one sterling outlier in the middle of it was that amazing performance against Seattle in the middle of this that we've seen. And again, I'm telling you, he hasn't met a fastball that he doesn't like to throw it to you right down the middle and see how far you can hit it. And I'm telling you, but And I got no shortage of messages last night. Oh, I got a lot of messages. We're going to talk about that in the first segment. I had some interesting feedback from yesterday's show, but I got a lot of messages during the game about that play and about Josh Tomlin. And I knew it, man. I mean, your boy. That was the gist of all of them was, that's your boy. What are you going to do about it? So, anyways, I don't know what to do about it. Luckily, the Indians are only going to need a fifth starter. I believe it's 3 times in the entire month. So maybe we won't have to do anything about it, at least for a while here, and let them figure it out. But yeah, that's my boy. Again, saying it, and if you could see me, if we had video here, head hung in shame. I'd be sitting in the corner, dunce cap on my head. But we'll talk more about that with Mike Brandenberry, Josh Tomlin, crazy play. It all adds up to a loss, a split of the home half of the Battle of Ohio as they now head down to Cincy and finish the other 2 games of this series on the road for the Tribe before they head to the Bronx. And that's key. That's a team. We talk about it. The teams that are directly in your way and directly in competition for those spots. Not that every game's not important, but those are even more important. So we're going to talk with Mike Brandenberry about all of that. I'm going to talk some hoops here in the opening segment, and I'm going to talk about some of the feedback I got from yesterday's show. Browns camp continuing to go on, a lot going on there. Mike Brandenberry, your phone calls and takes and so much more. So how about we grab give me the opener here. We're going to pop the top on this bad boy and get it going. Welcome in, one and all, to the Sports Fix. J-Rock, Jerry Myers with you, the coordinator of the madness, the captain of the ship, if you will, here, driving us every weekday at noon right here across the Sports Fix radio network. That may be TuneIn and TuneIn's radio app live worldwide on the sportsfix.net. Maybe you listen to us live on Spreaker and Mixler. Hello to all of you listening live each and every weekday, noon Eastern, and those of you 24 hours a day enjoying the show on digital delay on iHeartRadio, iTunes, Stitcher Radio, all of the various podcast platforms, SoundCloud, CarPlay, all the downloads, every way that you subscribe. Thank you guys so much. The subscribers continue to grow on all of the various sites, and which is a good thing because that's separate. That's there, the listenership is one thing, but as the subscribership grows, those are people that are like, hey, I'm not missing a second of the show. I want to get every episode, and I love that. It's just watching that number continue to grow, you guys. Thank you very much for that. As I said, across that is the Sports Fix Radio Network. And they give me the microphone. I flip it around and put it right back on you. So use it. Pick up the phone. Give me a call. If there's something you want to say, now's the time to say it. So many times, and I know I've talked about this, it's the delays. It's the differences in how you listen, what format or medium you may be listening to the show. So many times, everybody tries to call at the same time, and then when the phones are free, so many people don't. And I always laugh because when it's a time when we're not taking phone calls, 17 in a row will come in through that thing, and I always laugh. So here's an opportunity, especially if you haven't been able to get through lately. 216-539-7535. 216-539-7535. Pick up the phone, give me a call, or as always, use the social media to stay in touch with the show. Facebook.com/The Sports Fix, or just look in your search box on Facebook for the Sports Fix. Easy enough to find. The little blue and white and black logo, that's us, baby. Facebook.com/The Sports Fix. Tweet with us at The Sports Fix CLE. Daddy, email us, thesportsfix@AOL.com. And as I mentioned, not only listening live, but all 24/7, anything you need from the Sports Fix, from our social media widgets to the replays of our show to the live broadcast to the real-time news headlines. It's all right there on the sportsfix.net, so make sure you guys bookmark it today. All right, let's kick things off here, and I want to talk a little bit. Actually, this one will segue right into the other here. Talk a little basketball, man. I'm hot about some of the feedback I got, by the way, for the end of yesterday's show. I'll get there in a second. Let's start with press conference this morning. Those of you not familiar, Cavaliers sent out the press release last night. They actually just officially signed Mike Miller, James Jones yesterday, even though we've talked about that being a done deal for quite some time now. The official contract signing. And what do you know? At the bottom of the email that announced it last night, and let's see, this email came at 6:36 last night. And what do you know? In big bold letters, much like every press release I get from the Cavaliers about a draft pick, a trade, or a signing, there's big red letters at the top that say Cavaliers holding their introductory press conference tomorrow at Cleveland Clinic Courts. And the reason that I'm saying that is for those of you that listen every day, you know right where I'm going with this. All the way back to clue number 1, the day I knew that the Cavaliers had agreed to include Andrew Wiggins in the trade for Kevin Love. And remember, that was the day that the Cavs signed the contract with Andrew Wiggins and sent out the press release with no congratulatory remarks, no statements from the team or the player, and no press conference scheduled. And I knew right then and there that was so different from the modus operandi of the Cavaliers when they do this that I said, man, he's done. He's as good as gone. They didn't even put a generic, we're glad to have Andrew on the team, because they knew from the moment that they signed him that he was not going to be a member of this team. I knew that day. We talked about it for, good 15, 20 minutes, and that was the sign to me, more than the innuendo, more than the rumors that came out anywhere else, that said, man, they're trading this kid for sure. When they didn't introduce him, when they didn't hold the press conference, when they didn't even thank him for signing his contract, I said, man, this kid he's not officially, I guess only in the record books will he have been a member of the Cavaliers. But then I saw this morning, and I'm like, man, Cleveland knew weeks ago that these cats had already signed, man, but they wasted no time in rushing the press conference out there, because that's how the Cavs roll. So both of those guys, a pretty simple deal this morning, said what you'd expect them to say. They had an opportunity to make a run with LeBron down in Miami. Now they want to come do the same thing here. They're shooters. They know the floor is going to be opened up for them, etc., so on and so forth. Pretty much it. James Jones was funny. When asked his thoughts about Cleveland, he goes, hey, man, it's cold. I come from Miami. I'm just telling you, it's cold, but that's okay. We'll make this thing work. We'll win and all of that. But, I mean, his first answer, it's cold. And the first question was pretty funny. First question was, hey, so you guys came here because you really wanted to play with Kevin Love, didn't you? And got a chuckle out of everybody there. But there it is. Your newest Cavaliers announced, put out there. And I believe, matter of fact, I saw somebody tweet, Jared Jack, we didn't even know you. His number 1 has already been given to James Jones. No arguments about the jersey number there. And Mike Miller's going to be number 18 for the Cavaliers. Those two are done. Press conference out of the way. Speaking of the Cavaliers, their head coach and those guys meeting there, Mike Miller said he was in Akron working out with LeBron a little bit yesterday, doing some shooting around and some different things. And apparently Cavaliers Coach Blatt met up with LeBron. I know a lot of people, and I'm not spending more than 30 seconds talking about this, but apparently some people think that it's a proper sports talk discussion to discuss LeBron James' photographs of his weight loss. I don't know. To me, I always thought that the guy, he was a beast, but he was built more like a linebacker than a basketball player, and I thought that perhaps some of the over-musculature played a part in the cramping and some of the different things that we've talked about that before. I know some people will tell you no, but clearly LeBron thought something, because he went out of his way to change his diet, completely cut carbs out, and it's not as dramatic, by the way, as people say, especially because it's much like a cutting period before a boxing match or a mixed martial arts. You're going to drop a lot, then you're going to replenish and rehydrate and get yourself back up a little bit. So it's nowhere near the you should have seen. And I get it, that the scarred fan mentality that a lot of people here in Cleveland have. Let's just say I can't repeat a couple of the more conspiracy theory emails that I got about LeBron losing all that weight. But hence to say they started with only in Cleveland and then went on and went south from there. You can kind of guess the direction that they went, but not a big deal to me. I mean, let it be what it's going to be. And let's wait until they show up for training camp and stuff. But, I mean, I heard, like, some people really going full-blown into this discussion. And I'm like, hey, man, and besides that, a lot of players do that. A lot of players, as they hit that kind of mythical 30 plateau there, that whether it's in the head or not, they do begin to change their body structure and lean out and work on some of that, because those are the things that happen when you hit the 30s and you've got to elongate your career in different ways. But not this big be-all, end-all discussion that some people are having. But, I mean, and me too. Hey, not just on the air. Friends of mine texting me, what's up with your boy LeBron? And I'm like, when did he become my boy? Let's go there for a second, by the way. When did he become my boy is a good segue to yesterday. I spent a portion of my evening